The desperate call. The stars were cold, the universe was silent, and in that silence a small ship was dying. The ship's name was Velari Hope. It was a Korvani trading vessel. Once it was beautiful. Once it was full of life and laughter. But now it was broken. Fire burned in the lower decks, smoke filled the hallways, and the smell of death was everywhere. Captain Lyris sat in her command chair. She was bleeding. Purple blood ran down her face. Her arm was broken. Her body was weak, but her eyes were still sharp. She looked at the damage reports on her screen. Every number was bad. Every system was failing. 47 souls were on this ship. Traders, engineers, families, children. They had trusted her to keep them safe, and she had failed. 3 hours ago, the Drakari came. They appeared from nowhere, 5 ships, all armed, all hungry for blood. The Drakari were pirates. They killed for fun. They sold prisoners as slaves. They had no mercy. They had no heart. The attack was fast. The Velari Hope had no weapons. It was a cargo ship. It was meant for trade, not war. The Drakari tore through their shields like paper. They destroyed the engines. They killed 12 crew members in the first strike. Then they left, but they promised to return. "We will come back," the Drakari commander had said. His name was Warlord Kreth. His voice was like broken glass. "We will take your cargo. We will take your children. And we will take our time killing the rest." Now, Captain Lyris sat alone with her thoughts. The life support system was failing. 6 hours of oxygen remained. 6 hours before everyone on this ship would breathe their last breath. She heard crying. Somewhere in the ship, children were crying. Parents were trying to comfort them. But what could they say? What hope could they offer? Lyris had sent distress calls to 5 different species. The Fenari did not respond. The Botanical Council was too far away. The mineral clans said they could not help. No one was coming. No one cared about a small Korvani ship lost in the darkness. But there was one more option, one channel she had never used, one species she had never contacted, Channel 0, the human emergency line. Lyris felt fear crawl up her spine. Humans, the Deathworlders, every species in the galaxy knew stories about them. They came from Earth, a planet so dangerous that it killed most life forms. Humans breathed poisonous air. They drank liquids that could melt metal. They kept wild predators as pets and called them good boys. Some said humans were monsters. Some said they were saviors. No one knew for sure. But Lyris knew one thing. Her people were going to die. The children were going to become slaves. And she would try anything to stop that, even calling the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The monster-arrived space was silent, but silence can lie. Warlord Kreth stood on the bridge of his warship. He was smiling. His teeth were sharp like knives. His eyes were yellow like poison. He had waited 3 hours. 3 hours for the Korvani to suffer. 3 hours for their hope to die. Now he was back. 5 Drakari warships floated around the broken Velari Hope, like wolves around a wounded deer, like sharks smelling blood. "Prepare the boarding pods," Kreth ordered. His voice was cold. "I want the children first. They sell for the highest price." His officers obeyed. They always obeyed. Kreth had killed the last officer who questioned him. He had killed him slowly. On the Korvani ship, Captain Lyris watched the Drakari ships surround her. She had no weapons, no shields, no hope. The human emergency call had gone out 2 hours ago. No response. Maybe humans did not care. Maybe the stories were wrong. Maybe no one was coming. A Korvani mother held her daughter close. The little girl was crying. "Mama, I am scared. I know, baby, I know. Will the bad aliens hurt us?" The mother had no answer. She just held her daughter tighter. Warlord Kreth opened a communication channel. His ugly face appeared on every screen on the Korvani ship. "Little Korvani," he said, "your time is up. No one is coming to save you. No one cares about your tiny lives. Open your doors. Surrender now. And I promise, I will kill you quickly." He laughed. His officers laughed with him. Captain Lyris stood up. Her legs were shaking, her body was broken, but her voice was strong. "My people will never surrender to monsters." Kreth stopped laughing. His eyes became dark. "Then your people will scream, Captain. They will scream for days." He raised his hand to give the attack order. But then something happened. A light appeared in the darkness. A small light at first, like a star being born. Then it grew, bigger, brighter. The light stretched and twisted. Space itself was bending. Kreth's tactical officer looked at his screen. His face went pale. "Warlord, something is coming." "What is it?" I do not know. The energy readings are impossible." The light exploded, and from that explosion a ship emerged. But this was not a ship. This was a monster, 2 kilometers of black metal, red lights glowing like demon eyes, weapons covering every surface, guns, missiles, cannons. More weapons than Kreth had ever seen on one vessel. The ship was darkness given form, death made real. Kreth's officer spoke again. His voice was shaking. "Warlord, it is a human ship." Kreth felt something he had not felt in 20 years. He felt fear. The human ship moved slowly, calmly, like a predator that knows its prey cannot escape. It positioned itself between the Drakari fleet and the Korvani vessel. A message appeared on Kreth's screen. One line, simple words. UES Wrath of Terra, United Earth Navy. The humans had come, and they had not sent a rescue ship. They had sent a warship. The woman who never lost. Captain Yuki Tanaka stood on her bridge like a statue. She did not move. She did not blink. Her eyes were fixed on the Drakari fleet. She was 52 years old. Her hair was black with streaks of grey. Her face had 3 scars. Each scar was a story. Each story ended with her enemy dead. In 30 years of service, Yuki Tanaka had fought 47 battles. She had won 47 times. The galaxy had a name for her. They called her the Ghost of Saturn, because when enemies saw her ship, they became ghosts. Her first officer, Commander James Cole, stood beside her. He was tall, strong, loyal. He had served with Yuki for 15 years. He had seen her do impossible things. "Captain," Cole said, 5 Drakari warships, standard attack formation. They have positioned themselves around the Korvani vessel." "I can see that, Commander. Your orders." Yuki did not answer immediately. She studied the enemy ships. She counted their weapons. She measured their positions. She calculated 17 different ways to destroy them. Then she picked the most efficient one. "Open a channel," she said. "All frequencies. I want the Drakari to hear this. I want the Korvani to hear this. I want the entire sector to hear this." Cole pressed a button. "Channel open, Captain." Yuki stepped forward. When she spoke, her voice was calm, cold, like ice covering a deep ocean. "This is Captain Yuki Tanaka of the United Earth ship Wrath of Terra. The Korvani vessel Velari Hope is now under human protection. Any attack on that ship will be considered an attack on Earth. You have 60 seconds to withdraw." She paused. "I suggest you use them wisely." On the Drakari flagship, Warlord Kreth heard the message. His fear turned to anger. Anger was easier. Anger was familiar. "One ship," he growled. "One human ship thinks it can threaten me." He opened his own channel. "Human female. I am Warlord Kreth. I have destroyed 40 ships. I have burned 3 planets. I have sold 10,000 slaves. Your words do not frighten me." Yuki's response was immediate. "I know exactly who you are, Warlord. I have read your file. 40 ships destroyed, most of them unarmed. 3 planets burned, all of them defenseless. 10,000 slaves sold, most of them children." Her voice grew colder. "You are not a warrior, Kreth. You are a coward who attacks the weak. Today, you face someone who fights back." Kreth slammed his fist on his chair. "You dare insult me? I will destroy your ship. I will kill your crew. I will—" 50 seconds remaining. Yuki interrupted. 49, 48. She sat down in her captain's chair. "Commander Cole, prepare all weapons. If they are still here when I reach 0, remove them from existence." Cole smiled. "With pleasure, Captain." 60 seconds. The countdown continued. 40 seconds. On the Korvani ship, every soul watched the human warship. They could not believe what they were seeing. 1 ship against 5, 1 human female challenging a warlord. It was madness. It was impossible. But the humans did not seem to care about impossible. 30 seconds. Warlord Kreth was pacing on his bridge. His officers watched him nervously. They had seen the human ship. They had seen its size. They had seen its weapons. Fear was spreading through the Drakari fleet like poison. "Warlord," his second officer said carefully, "perhaps we should withdraw. The cargo is not worth—" "Silence!" Kreth roared. "We do not run from 1 ship. We are Drakari. We are warriors. 20 seconds. Kreth made his decision. Pride was stronger than fear. Stupidity was stronger than wisdom. "All ships," he commanded, "attack formation. Target the human vessel. Fire everything." The Drakari fleet obeyed. All 5 ships turned their weapons toward the Wrath of Terra. Missiles launched, lasers fired, plasma cannons blazed, hundreds of weapons flew through space toward the human ship. On the Korvani vessel, Captain Lyris covered her eyes. She could not watch. The humans had come to save them, and now the humans would die for them. 10 seconds. The weapons reached the Wrath of Terra, and then something beautiful happened. A blue light surrounded the human ship, a perfect sphere of energy. The Aegis shield, humanity's greatest defensive technology. Every missile hit the shield and exploded harmlessly. Every laser bounced away into space. Every plasma blast dissolved into nothing. When the light cleared, the Wrath of Terra was untouched. Not a single scratch, not a single mark. 5 seconds. Warlord Kreth stared at his screen. His mouth was open, his hands were shaking. "Impossible," he whispered. "That is impossible." 4, 3, 2, 1. Captain Yuki Tanaka stood up. "Time's up." She looked at Commander Cole. "Commander, show them what humanity thinks of slavers." The Wrath of Terra opened fire, but this was not a battle. This was a lesson. The human ship did not aim to destroy. It aimed to cripple. Precise shots hit each Drakari vessel exactly where it hurt most. Engines exploded. Weapon systems died. Shield generators burned. In 12 seconds, all 5 Drakari warships were floating dead in space. No power, no weapons, no escape. Warlord Kreth watched his fleet die around him. His mighty warships reduced to metal coffins. His reputation destroyed in less than a minute. On the Korvani ship, the crew watched in stunned silence. They stopped them," Officer Toven whispered. One ship defeated 5. Captain Lyris was crying, not from sadness, from relief, from hope. The little Korvani girl looked at the human warship through the window. "Mama," she said, "the humans are not monsters." Her mother held her close. "No, baby, they are not monsters. They are something else." "What are they?" The mother smiled through her tears. "They are protectors." The boarding. The Drakari ships were silent. Their crews were alive but trapped. Their weapons were dead. Their engines were gone. They could only watch as a human shuttle left the Wrath of Terra and flew toward the Korvani vessel. On the shuttle, Sergeant Ana Rodriguez checked her team. 12 soldiers, all trained, all ready. But this was not a combat mission. This was a rescue mission. "Listen up," Rodriguez said. "The Korvani are scared. They have never seen humans before. They think we might eat them." Her soldiers laughed. "I am serious," Rodriguez continued. "We look like monsters to them. We are big. We are loud. We have teeth that show when we smile, so do not smile too much. Move slowly. Speak softly. We are here to help, not to frighten." The shuttle docked with the Korvani ship. The door opened slowly. Smoke poured out. The smell of burning metal filled the air. Rodriguez stepped inside first. The hallway was dark. Emergency lights flickered red. She could hear crying somewhere ahead. Children crying. The sound broke her heart. "Medical team, follow me," she ordered. "Security team, check for fires. Let's move." They found the survivors in the main cargo bay. 47 Korvani huddled together, families holding each other, wounded lying on the floor, children hiding behind their parents. When the humans entered, every Korvani went silent. Their large eyes stared at the soldiers. Fear was everywhere. The air was thick with it. Rodriguez removed her helmet. She wanted them to see her face. She wanted them to see she was not a monster. "Hello," she said softly. "My name is Anna. We are from Earth. We are here to help you." No one moved. No one spoke. Rodriguez noticed a small child peeking from behind her mother. The same little girl who had asked if humans eat people. Her blue skin was dirty. Her eyes were red from crying. But there was curiosity in those eyes. Curiosity fighting against fear. Rodriguez knelt down. She made herself small, less threatening. "Hi there, little one. What is your name?" The child did not answer. She pressed closer to her mother. Rodriguez reached into her pocket. She pulled out a small chocolate bar. She always carried chocolate. Her grandmother had taught her that. "Chocolate fixes everything," her grandmother used to say. She held it out toward the child. "This is called chocolate. It is sweet. On Earth we give it to friends. Would you like to try?" The child looked at the chocolate, then at her mother, then back at the chocolate. Slowly, very slowly, she stepped forward. Her small hand reached out. She took the chocolate carefully, like it might explode. She took a tiny bite. Her eyes went wide. The fear in them disappeared. A small smile appeared on her face. "It is good," she whispered. Rodriguez smiled back. "I am glad you like it." The child took another bite. Then she looked up at Rodriguez. "Are you really from Earth? The Death World?" "Yes, I am." "Is it true that Earth has giant monsters, and poison water, and rocks that fall from the sky?" Rodriguez laughed softly. "All true, but we also have chocolate, and music, and stories. Earth is not just dangerous, it is also beautiful." The child thought about this. I think I would like to see it someday." "Maybe you will, little one. Maybe you will." The ice was broken. The fear was fading. Other Korvani began to approach the humans. Medical teams started treating the wounded. Soldiers handed out water and food. Hope had returned to the Valari Hope. Captain Meets, Captain Sergeant Rodriguez, found Captain Lyris near the bridge. The Korvani captain was sitting against a wall. Her wounds were bad. Purple blood had dried on her uniform. Her breathing was weak. "Medic!" Rodriguez called. "I need a medic here now." She knelt beside Lyris. The captain's eyes opened slowly. "Human," Lyris whispered. "You came. You actually came." "Of course we came. Now stay still. Help is coming." A human medic arrived and began treating Lyris. The captain winced in pain but did not cry out. She was strong. Rodriguez could see that. "Why?" Lyris asked while the medic worked. "Why did you come?" "We are strangers. We have nothing to offer Earth. We have no alliance, no treaty, nothing." Rodriguez was quiet for a moment. How do you explain humanity to someone who has never understood it? "Captain," she finally said, "where I come from, there is an old story. A man was walking on a road. He was attacked by thieves. They beat him and left him to die. Many people walked past him, important people, rich people. They all ignored him, but then a stranger came, a stranger from a different land, a land that was considered enemy territory. This stranger stopped. He helped the wounded man. He saved his life." Lyris listened carefully. When someone asked why the stranger helped his enemy, he gave a simple answer. He said, because he needed help. That is enough. Rodriguez smiled. That story is 2,000 years old, and humans still believe it. When someone needs help, you help them. It does not matter who they are. It does not matter where they come from. It does not matter if they can pay you back. You help them because it is right. Lyris felt tears forming in her eyes. In her entire life, no one had ever helped her without wanting something in return. The galaxy did not work that way. Everyone had a price. Everyone had an angle. But humans were different. Your species, Lyris said softly, the galaxy calls you monsters, Deathworlders, dangerous creatures from a dangerous planet. I know. They are wrong. Rodriguez tilted her head. Are they? Yes. You are not monsters. Lyris reached out and took Rodriguez's hand. You are what we all should be, what we forgot how to be. At that moment, Captain Yuki Tanaka's voice came through the radio. Sergeant Rodriguez, status report. Rodriguez activated her communicator. Captain, the Korvani are secure. 47 survivors, 12 wounded, 3 critical. We need medical evacuation for the worst cases, but everyone is going to live. There was a pause on the radio. When Yuki spoke again, her voice was warm, proud. Outstanding work, Sergeant. Bring them home. Yes, ma'am. Rodriguez looked down at Lyris. Did you hear that, Captain? You're going home. Lyris smiled weakly. I think I already am. Justice for a monster. While the rescue continued, Captain Yuki Tanaka had unfinished business. She opened a channel to the Drakari flagship. Warlord Kreth, can you hear me? For a long moment, there was no response. Then Kreth's face appeared on screen. He looked different now. The confidence was gone. The pride was gone. He looked like what he truly was. A small, cruel creature who had finally met something bigger. Human, he growled, but his voice had no power now. You have 2 options, Yuki said calmly. Option 1, surrender yourself and your crew. You will face trial on Earth for crimes against sentient beings. You will be judged fairly. If you are found guilty, you will spend the rest of your life in prison. She paused. Option 2, refuse. In which case, I will destroy your ships with everyone on board. Your name will be forgotten. Your crew will be forgotten. You will become nothing. Kreth's hands tightened into fists. You cannot do this. I am a Drakari warlord. I have rights. I have protections under galactic law. Galactic law? Yuki's voice became ice. Let me tell you about galactic law, warlord. Article 7 of the Galactic Convention states that any vessel engaged in slave trading can be destroyed without warning. Article 12 states that any attack on a ship carrying children forfeits all protections. You have violated both articles. You have no rights, you have no protections, you have only my mercy. She leaned forward. And my mercy has a time limit. You have 30 seconds to decide. Kreth looked around his bridge. His officers were staring at him. They were afraid. They did not want to die for his pride. They had families. They had lives. They wanted to survive. One officer spoke carefully. Warlord, perhaps we should surrender, live to fight another day. Another officer nodded. The human is right. We have no weapons, no engines. We cannot win. Kreth felt his power slipping away. His own crew was turning against him. Everything he had built was crumbling. Fine, he spat. We surrender. Wise choice. Human soldiers boarded the Drakari ships one by one. They were professional, efficient. They took weapons. They restrained prisoners. They did not hurt anyone who did not resist. Kreth was brought to the Wrath of Terra in chains. He was taken to a holding cell. A small room with no windows, no comfort, just cold walls and a hard floor. Before the door closed, Captain Yuki appeared. Warlord Kreth, I want you to understand something. Kreth looked up at her with hatred. What? You are not special, you are not powerful. You are just another bully who picked on the weak because you were too afraid to face the strong. The galaxy is full of creatures like you, and one by one we will find them. We will stop them. We will bring them to justice. She turned to leave. Wait, Kreth called out. I need to know why. Why do humans care so much? The Korvani are nothing to you. Why risk war? Why waste resources? Why? Yuki stopped at the door. She looked back at him. Because every child deserves to be safe. Every innocent deserves protection. Every monster deserves judgment. That is not politics, warlord. That is not strategy. That is just basic decency, something you will never understand. The door closed. Kreth was alone in the darkness, and for the first time in his life, he truly understood fear. The journey home. The Wrath of Terra had a medical bay that could hold 200 patients. Today, it held only 12 Korvani, the worst wounded. They lay in human beds that were too big for them. They were surrounded by machines that hummed with strange energy. Human doctors moved around them, speaking softly, working gently. The rest of the Korvani survivors were given guest quarters, real beds, clean water, hot food, things they thought they would never have again. The little Korvani girl sat by a window watching the stars. Her name was Nira. She was 7 years old. 2 days ago she thought she would become a slave. Now she was eating chocolate and looking at stars from a human warship. Life was very strange. Sergeant Rodriguez sat down beside her. You should sleep, little one. It is late. Nira shook her head. I'm not tired. I want to watch. Watch what? The stars. They look different from here, safer. Rodriguez smiled. The stars are the same everywhere. But I understand what you mean. Sometimes the same thing can feel different depending on where you are. Nira was quiet for a moment. Sergeant Anna? Yes? Why are humans so strong? Rodriguez thought about the question. We are not that strong, actually. Many species are stronger than us, faster, tougher. Then why did the Drakari fear you? Rodriguez looked out at the stars. Because strength is not just about muscles, Nira. It is about will. Humans come from a hard world, a world that tried to kill us every day. We survived because we refused to give up. We learned that the universe does not care about us, so we must care about each other. She looked at the little girl. The Drakari are strong in body, but they are weak in spirit. They hurt others because it makes them feel powerful. Humans protect others because it makes us feel whole. That is the difference. That is why they fear us. Nira thought about this. I want to be like humans when I grow up. What do you mean? I want to help people. I want to protect people. I want to make the scared people feel safe, like you made me feel safe. Rodriguez felt her heart swell. This was why she joined the military. Not for glory, not for adventure, for moments like this. Then you will be a great person, Nira, greater than any soldier. Even greater than Captain Tanaka, Rodriguez laughed. Let's not get carried away. Welcome home. The Korvani homeworld was beautiful. Blue oceans, green forests, cities that sparkled like jewels. Captain Lyris had never been so happy to see it. The Wrath of Terra escorted the repaired Valari Hope to the planet's orbit. Below, word had spread. The entire Korvani species knew what had happened. They knew about the Drakari attack. They knew about the desperate call. They knew that humans had answered. Thousands of Korvani gathered at the main spaceport, families waiting for their loved ones, government officials ready to greet the human heroes, journalists ready to record history. Captain Lyris stood on her bridge for the last time. Officer Tovan stood beside her. We are home, Tovan said softly. Yes, thanks to them. Lyris opened a channel to the Wrath of Terra. Captain Tanaka, this is Captain Lyris. Yuki's face appeared on screen. Captain Lyris, how are you feeling? Alive, Because of you. Yuki smiled slightly. You would have found a way. You are stronger than you know. Maybe, but I did not have to find out. Because you came. Lyris paused. Captain, I want to say something. The galaxy tells stories about humans. Scary stories. They say you are dangerous. They say you are violent. They say you should be feared. Those stories are not entirely wrong, Yuki admitted. No, but they are not entirely right either. You are dangerous, but not to the innocent. You are violent, but only against evil. You should be feared, but only by those who hurt others. Lyris straightened her posture. It hurt her wounds, but she did not care. Today, I learned the truth about humans, and I will spend the rest of my life telling that truth. The Korvani will remember what you did. We will tell our children and their children. For 1,000 years, we will remember. Yuki was quiet for a moment. When she spoke, her voice was soft. Captain Lyris, we do not do this for memory. We do not do this for thanks. We do this because it is who we are. That is enough. I know, and that is exactly why you deserve to be remembered. Below, the Korvani crowds began to cheer. They could see the Wrath of Terra in the sky, a human warship, a symbol of hope. Little Nera pressed her face against the window of the shuttle, taking her down to the planet. She could see her parents in the crowd. They were crying, they were waving, they were alive because strangers had decided to care. She looked back at Sergeant Rodriguez. Will I see you again? Rodriguez knelt down and hugged the little girl. The universe is big, Nera, but somehow the right people always find each other. If you ever need me, just look at the stars. I will be out there somewhere, watching, protecting. Promise? Promise. Nera hugged her tighter. Thank you, Sergeant Anna. Thank you for saving us. Thank you, Nera. Thank you for reminding me why we fight. The message. The Wrath of Terra left Korvani space quietly. No celebration, no ceremony, just a ship disappearing into the darkness, going home. But before they left, Captain Yuki Tanaka sent a message. Not to the Korvani, not to Earth. She sent it to every species in the galaxy, every government, every fleet, every world. The message was simple. This is Captain Yuki Tanaka of the United Earth Navy. 3 days ago, a Korvani cargo ship was attacked by Drakari pirates. 47 innocent beings were going to be killed or enslaved. Among them were 15 children. Earth received their distress call. Earth responded. The Drakari fleet has been neutralized. Warlord Kreth is in human custody. He will face trial for his crimes. The Korvani survivors have been returned safely to their homeworld. Let this be a message to the galaxy. Humans do not ignore cries for help. Humans do not abandon the innocent. Humans do not forgive those who harm children. If you are in danger, call us. We will come. If you are a danger to others, fear us. We will find you. This is not a threat, this is a promise. Earth stands for justice. Earth stands for the helpless. Earth stands. End transmission. The message spread across the galaxy like fire. Every species heard it. Every government debated it. Every creature with a heart felt something stir inside them. Some felt fear. The slavers, the pirates, the warlords. They looked at their maps and wondered if humans were watching them. Some felt hope, the small species, the weak species, the species who had been alone for so long. They looked at the stars and wondered if maybe finally someone would answer if they called. And some felt inspiration. Young beings across the galaxy heard the message and made decisions. They decided to be better, to help others, to stand up for the weak, because humans had shown them it was possible. On Earth, the Wrath of Terra landed at Geneva Spaceport. The crew was given leave. They went home to their families. They ate dinner. They played with their children. They slept in their own beds. Captain Yuki Tanaka visited her grandmother's grave. She placed flowers on the stone, cherry blossoms, her grandmother's favorite. I kept my promise, grandmother. she said softly. "I helped strangers in need. I protected children I never met. I showed the galaxy who we are." The wind blew gently. The cherry blossoms danced. Somewhere in the universe, a scared child was looking at the stars, hoping for help. And somewhere else, a human was preparing to answer. And so the story ended. But also, it began. The Korvani never forgot what humans did for them. They became Earth's closest allies. They taught humans about the galaxy. Humans taught them about courage. Together, they made each other stronger. Little Nera grew up to become a captain herself. She commanded a rescue ship. She saved thousands of lives across the galaxy. Every time she answered a distress call, she thought of a human sergeant who gave her chocolate and taught her about hope. Warlord Kreth stood trial on Earth. The trial lasted 17 days. Survivors from dozens of his attacks testified against him. Korvani, Fenari, humans, all telling the same story, a monster who preyed on the weak. He was found guilty on 412 counts of slavery, murder and crimes against sentient beings. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without possibility of release. He died alone in a cell 40 years later. No one mourned him. Captain Yuki Tanaka continued serving for another 15 years. She never lost a battle. She saved countless lives. When she finally retired, they asked her what she was most proud of. "The Korvani rescue," she said without hesitation, "because that day we did not just save 47 people. We showed the galaxy what humanity truly means. We showed them that power is nothing without compassion, that strength is empty without kindness, that the measure of a species is not how they treat their friends, but how they treat strangers in need." The galaxy changed after that day. Slowly, imperfectly. But it changed. Pirates became more careful. Slavers became more afraid. The weak and the helpless began to hope, because now they knew something they had not known before. They knew that somewhere in the darkness there was a planet called Earth, and on that planet lived a species that would cross the universe for strangers, fight wars for children they had never met, die for people who could never repay them. Humans, the Deathworlders, the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they were strong, not because they were violent, but because they cared. And that was the most powerful thing of all.